In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this illustration of a koala bear using Inkscape. Inkscape is a pre-designed software that you can download from its website, and I'll leave the link in the description if you're interested. As you can see, this illustration is based off of circles and ellipses. So to begin with, I'm going to create the circle to create the face. So click on the circle tool from the toolbar on the left hand side, and then click and drag to create a circle about this big. And I'm going to change the color to a shade of gray. So I can change the color from the color palette below. So click on about 20% gray, and I'm going to click on the selector tool, and maybe I can adjust the size, make it a little bit squash or increase the size a little bit. Okay, so once I created this shape, next I'm going to create the snout. So in order to do that, I'm just going to duplicate this, and I can duplicate by right clicking and click on duplicate, or I can just press Control or Command D in my keyboard. And then I'm going to change the color of the snout. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker, let's say about 70% gray. And I'm going to press and hold Control and Shift, and I'm going to scale it down so that I can just want to make it a little bit smaller. And then hold Control on your keyboard and then bring it down. And again, click on this top arrow and bring it down as well to make it a little bit short, just like that. And you can adjust the size just like that. And also, like, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, let's say about 60% gray or 40% gray. That would do. Now I'm going to make the nose by right clicking in and then duplicate it one more time, and this time I'm going to make it dark, let's say black. I'm just going to click on the black color here, and then I'm going to hold Control and Shift, and I'm going to scale it down and hold Control in the keyboard and then move it up just like that. So once you're done with this step, next I'm going to create the smile. So I can just create a line to create the smile. So click on the pen tool from the toolbar on the left hand side, and then I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to make a point by just clicking once, and then hold Control on your keyboard and move your mouse a little bit down just like that, and make one more point just by clicking one more time, and then press enter on your keyboard to finalize the line. As you can see, the line is now visible right now. So in order to make it visible, you go to fill and stroke, and if you don't have the fill and stroke menu already opened, you can go to the object menu, click on the object menu, and then the second option which says fill and stroke, just click on that, and that will open up this fill and stroke mode. And from here you go to stroke paint and click on the second option from the top. It says flat color, just click on that, and that will apply the stroke. And also you can increase or decrease the thickness of the stroke by going to stroke style, click on that, and just increase the width. By default it says 0.26. I'm just going to make it 0.5 millimeters. Press enter, and that would do. Great. So once you're done with this step, next I'm going to create the smile. So again, I'm going to create a line. So make a point on the left hand side just like this, and hold Control on your keyboard and move your mouse to the right hand side, and then make a point one more time by just clicking one more time, and then press enter in the keyboard to finalize the line. And now you can just click on the node tool. Right now it's just a straight line, so to make it a smile, you can just click on the node tool from the toolbar, which is the second tool, and then you can just hover your mouse cursor on top of the line, and you can just click and drag to make a smile. And now, as you can see, it looks a little bit weird as there's a shape which is attached to the stroke. So we just need the line or the stroke. So we're just going to remove the fill area. So, and you can do that by going to fill, under fill and stroke, just click on fill, and I'm going to remove the fill by clicking on this X, the first option. All right, no paint. Okay, great. So once you have this, you can just click on the select tool. I'm going to move it up just a little like that. And on second thought, I think like I can make this a little bit thicker. So I'm going to select both these lines by holding shift. You can select multiple objects by clicking first, and then hold shift and click on the other objects as well. And I'm going to increase the thickness of the stroke by going to stroke style, and then I'm just going to make it 1 millimeter thick. Okay, that does. Okay, great. Next I'm going to make the, as you can see, the stroke line is a little bit sharp, so I wanted to make it a little bit rounded, round edged. So I can do that by going to the option which says cap, and I'm going to click on the second option which says round cap. By default it is butt cap. I'm just going to click on the second option, says round cap, and that will create round edges for the stroke. So once you're done with this step, next I'm going to group all these items together, all these objects together, and you can group elements by first selecting multiple objects, and you can select multiple objects by holding shift in your keyboard and then click on all the objects that you wanted to group, and then you can group by right clicking and then click on group, or the shortcut to group is Control G as in group. Next, we're going to create the eyes for our illustration. And as you can see here in this example, we're going to create the patch for the eyes and then create the eyes itself. And in order to do that, I'm going to create a new circle. So click on the circle tool from the toolbar and then click and drag to create a circle. And as you can see here, we just have the stroke or the outline, but we do not have the fill area. And in order to include the fill, you go to fill and stroke, and we're going to enable the fill by clicking on this fill menu, and then the second option which says flat color, and that will add the fill color to this. And we're going to remove the stroke by going to stroke paint and click on this X which says no paint to get rid of that. And now I'm just going to make this patch a little bit darker, so I'm going to click on the color black from the color palette below. Next, I'm going to deform the shape. As you can see in this example, it's not a perfect circle, it's a little bit irregular. So in order to do that, I'm going to first convert this circle into a path. So I can do that by going to the path menu, click on path, and then click on object to path, and that will convert this object or circle into a path. And now click on node tool, which is the second tool, and as you can see there are 4 nodes. So I'm going to click on the topmost node, and I'm going to hold control on my keyboard and then move it to the right so that I have something like a slanted or a slope towards the left hand side. And now I can make it a little bit taller, like just click and drag it up just a little, and I can use these handles and I can just click and drag to make it a little bit more smooth, just like that. Okay, so I can adjust it, edit it as much as I want. So once I'm done with this, once I'm satisfied with the shape, I can select them, and now let me just make it a little bit bigger. So right now it looks a little bit small, so I'm going to click and drag and make it a little bit bigger, just like that. So once I'm done with this shape, next I'm going to create the eyes. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the circle tool and then click and drag to create a symmetrical circle. And in order to get a symmetrical circle, you need to press and hold Control on your keyboard and then click and drag, and you will get a perfect symmetrical circle just like this. And I'm going to change the color to white by clicking the white from the color palette below, and click on the select tool, and I'm going to move it inside the shape or the patch itself. Now I'm going to adjust the size. As you can see, it's too big, so I'm going to press and hold Control and Shift and then make it a little bit small, just like that. Alright, and next I'm going to create the pupil, and in order to do that, I'm going to duplicate the shape. And I can duplicate by right click and click on duplicate, or you can just press Control D in your keyboard. And next I'm going to turn this into black, so click on the black color from the color palette, and I make it small by holding Control and Shift and then scale it down just like this. Alright, so we're almost done with the eyes. I'm just going to add a highlight, and in order to do that, I'm just going to create one more circle. So I'm going to duplicate this pupil, right click and then click on duplicate. I'm going to turn that white, and I'm going to make that a small tiny circle just like that, and I'm going to click and drag it, move it and place it somewhere in the top right. So once you're done with all of these steps, I'm going to select all of these shapes, and then I'm going to group it together. So, and you can select multiple objects by holding shift in your keyboard. First, let me just click on the tiny circle and then hold shift in your keyboard, click on the pupil, and then holding shift, you can just click on the other shapes, just the shapes that is within the patch, and then you can group them by pressing Ctrl G, or you can just right click and then click on group. Next, I'm going to create the left eye, and I can do that by duplicating this shape. So let me just right click and click on duplicate, and I'm going to flip this on horizontal axis, and I can do that by clicking on this option on the top left which says object flip horizontal. Click once and I hold Control on your keyboard and then click and drag and place it on the right hand side just like this. And once you're satisfied with the positioning, you can just select both these objects by holding shift and click on the other object as well, and then we're going to group it by pressing Ctrl G. So once you're done, I'm going to resize it, like make it a little bit bigger. So hold Ctrl and Shift in your keyboard and then click and drag to increase its size just like that. And as you can see here, the eyes are in front, which means it's hiding a portion of the snout. In this example, as you can see, the snout is in front. So we're going to move this back or behind the snout. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on this option on the top which says lower. So there are four options which says raise to top, raise, lower, and then lower to bottom. So I'm going to click on the third option which says lower a couple of times, maybe just once, and then I'm just going to hold control and adjust its position. We are now almost done with our illustration. We just have to create the ears. So in order to do that, I'm going to create a circle. So click on the circle tool from the toolbar and then click and drag to create a circle. And as you can see, it is white in color, that because that's the last selected color. So I'm just going to make it dark gray. So click on the gray from the color palette, so about 60% gray, and I'm going to click and drag and place it here towards the left hand side. I'm going to increase the size, and now I'm going to duplicate this once by right clicking and click on duplicate. I'm going to turn this a little bit lighter shade of gray, so about 30% gray, and then I'm going to hold control and shift and then click and drag to make it a little bit smaller, about this big, and then I can just hold it and bring it down just like that, so that you should have something like a crescent shape on top, just like that. And once you're done, you can select them both. And before that, let me just make the ear a little bit darker. So in the second thought, I'm just going to make it like 80% gray. And now I can select both these circles and then group them together by pressing Ctrl G. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to duplicate this once by right clicking and click on duplicate. I'm going to flip this in horizontal axis by clicking on this object flip horizontal, and I'm going to hold control on my keyboard and then click and drag to the right hand side, just like that. And then I'm going to select both these objects and hold shift and click on the other object to select them both, and then group them together by pressing Ctrl G. Next, I'm going to select these ears and I'm going to send it behind the face. As you can see, right now it's in front. So make sure you have the ears selected, and then click on this option on the top right which says lower to bottom, and that will send the ears behind the face. Now you can just click and drag and position it so that it looks appealing. So once you're done with this, you can select all of these objects. You can just click and drag a box around all of the objects, and then you can just group them by pressing Ctrl G. We have now completed our illustration. If you have any questions, leave your questions in the comment below. Thanks for watching.